Previously, in Chapter 3, Echoes of the Fault Line. The signal awakens. Dr. Elias Voss and Christopher Pike pulled back the veil on a Cold War operation unlike anything on record. A Soviet satellite was brought down. A plasma field was triggered. And Jack Barrett, he didn't just witness the anomaly. He walked into it. As we step into Chapter 4, the signal splice, the timeline splits again. Jack wakes in 1980, unsure how he returned from the forest. But deep inside, the phenomenon is still calling him back. Meanwhile, 45 years later in Washington, D.C., Dr. Elias Voss stands before a classified Senate hearing. With Barrett at his side, Voss begins to explain what the world was never supposed to know. That Rendlesham was the first test, that Tic Tac was the second, and that both were born from the same technology, a signal seeded across time. The signal is no longer waiting. In this chapter, you'll hear a classified report, Echo Frame's own analysis. Woodbridge, December 27th, 1980. Jack Barrett woke in his bed, heart pounding, mouth dry. He didn't remember coming back. The last thing he recalled was standing at the edge of something, bright, breathing, and impossibly quiet. Now he was lying beneath coarse military sheets in the barracks at RAF Woodbridge. For a moment, he wondered if the entire experience had been a dream, but the ache in his bones and the humming in his chest said otherwise. His eyes darted to the frost-edged window. The forest was calling him. Not with words, with presence. Jack pulled himself upright, rubbing his temple. The memories weren't gone. They were just submerged, waiting. As the base stirred with the early shuffle of guards and ground crews, he knew something unfinished had begun. Classified briefing, U.S. Senate Intelligence Committee, Washington, D.C., December 17, 2025. In a secure vault beneath the Capitol, a classified session had reconvened. This was day 2 of the closed hearings that began with Jack Barrett's sworn testimony. Seated behind lead-lined walls, the United States Senate Intelligence Committee and members of the Gang of Eight prepared for the arrival of Dr. Elias Voss. The night before, Barrett had testified about the events of December 1980, what he saw in Rendlesham Forest, what he experienced, and what had been done to him. Now they were ready for corroboration. Dr. Voss had arrived in D.C. under special escort. As an architect of the once-buried Operation Echo Protocol, he was no longer a shadow. He was now a key witness. As aides distributed documents stamped in red, the room fell quiet. Barrett sat once more behind the reinforced table. Voss stepped to the stand. Eyes only, classified briefing. Project Echo Protocol, Internal Analysis Document 07-1981. Date, January 15th, 1981. Original compilation date. Reviewed, December 17th, 2025. Compiled by Division 9, Harmonic Field Intelligence, HFI. Clearance, Cosmic Top Secret, Echo Frame. Senator Halvorsen cleared his throat. Dr. Voss, you're certain this report hasn't been circulated outside this room? Voss nodded gravely. Not even to the Pentagon, only the agency heads directly tied to Operation MIRRORLINK. The panel leaned in. Aides dimmed the lights. 1. Executive Overview. Between December 26th to 28th, 1980, USAF Technical Sergeant Jack Barrett, stationed at RAF Woodbridge, encountered a localized atmospheric anomaly exhibiting non-linear flight, electromagnetic interference, and apparent spatio-temporal deviation. 3 days of sustained sensor disturbances and personnel interactions suggest the deliberate staging of an intelligence-driven UAP interface event. Subsequent analysis indicates convergence with data from Project CONDIGN, UK Modi 2000, classified until 2006. Sensor confirmed 2004 USS Nimitz Tic Tac encounter. Archived anomalies from Orford Ness plasma trials, initiated under COBRA MIST. The question no longer remains whether this is terrestrial or extraterrestrial. The operational framing now reads, Engineered convergence through controlled atmospheric geometry. 2. CONDIGN Model, field replication and effects. Certain unidentified aerial phenomena may be due to highly charged buoyant plasmas, capable of interacting with electromagnetic systems and biological observers. CONDIGN, Volume 2, Paragraph 46. A. Project CONDIGN postulated the existence of electromagnetic plasma, constructs that mimic advanced craft, emit focused microwave or RF radiation, create local sensor blindness, jamming, vanishing. influence perception and time continuity in witnesses. Rendlesham correlation. Barrett reported a structure made of light, shifting under observation. Time-lapse reported as 3 minutes. External logs registered 18. Surveillance cameras at WSA recorded signal dropout and flare compression, consistent with plasma envelope diffusion. Tic Tac match. Hovering without thrust, vectoring. Accelerative velocities greater than Mach 10 without boom shock. Radar lock disrupted across SPY-1 and FLIR systems. Pilot cognition slowed during visual phase lock. Both events match CONDIGN's plasma field cognitive bleed model. 3. Undisclosed field testing, possible man-made or controlled deployment. Data gathered at Rendlesham suggests human co-participation in the event. USAF/CIA liaison, Lieutenant Malcolm Rayner and Dr. Elias Voss initiated signal conditioning prior to main incident. Barrett's ECG showed electromagnetic entrainment patterns, resonating with Orford Ness emitter logs from 1977. British radar logs from Neatishead confirm an object descending from 80,000 feet to 200 feet in less than 1.3 seconds. This may not have been a visitation. It may have been an activation. Project CONDIGN's proposed use of plasma as a stealth medium and perceptual manipulator fits the signature of Black Tier prototype testing, possibly coordinated under Operation MIRRORLINK, a program scrubbed post-1979. 4. The time dilation signature. CONDIGN hints but avoids direct discussion of time domain anomalies. Jack Barrett's debriefing includes encountering a future echo of himself inside a hall of mirrors, witnessing external events before they occurred, corroborated by later military log entries, being told you're already inside. This matches CONDIGN's most controversial Appendix G, redacted in public release, which describes localized space-time distortions caused by high-density EM propagation may result in field-based time compression or perceptual stasis. Furthermore, Barrett's DNA shows mitochondrial anomalies post-incident. He registers oscillatory EEG frequencies consistent with neural phase bleeding observed in SRI remote viewers. 5. Operational conclusion. There are 3 primary hypotheses. A. Man-made technology, breakaway tier. An engineered craft utilizing plasma cloaking, inertial mass manipulation, and directed EM jamming to simulate UAP performance. Barrett's interaction was part of a control experiment. B. Hybrid intervention. A genuine, non-human intelligence operating through field resonance structures. The Rendlesham incident was invited by earlier Cold War experiments, creating a feedback aperture in space-time. See natural plasma. Consciousness. As Project CONDIGN subtly infers, UAPs may be non-biological atmospheric intelligences, reacting to human observation or tech intrusion. Plasma is not just a medium, it is the signal. 6. Recommended actions. Barrett to remain under echo frame watch until signal harmonics return to baseline. Do not expose full CONDIGN annex to Allied or Congressional review. Resume synthetic plasma lattice tests at Site Delta, UK, and Site Sigma, Alaska. Monitor for recurrence at grid node Capel Green. Addendum. Field note, Dr. Voss. You don't chase these things. You let them open the door. The trick is knowing when you've already stepped through it. As the lights came up and Voss stepped down from the podium, Senator Ortiz raised a hand. One more question, Dr. Voss. Did the writers of Project CONDIGN use the Rendlesham data in their assessment? Voss nodded. Yes, though heavily obfuscated. The incident was folded into broader categories under plasma-related phenomena. Direct citations were scrubbed, But make no mistake, the Rendlesham encounter heavily influenced CONDIGN's core models. Another senator followed up. And how much of what occurred there impacted the development of current technologies? Voss took a breath. More than I can explain in a single hearing. Plasma lattice projection, cognitive interface testing, and harmonic frequency mapping all originated from post-Rendlesham research. What happened to Sergeant Barrett and the others, especially the biological resonance effects, led directly to the studies that now underpin next-generation stealth and sensor evasion systems. "Did you provoke the phenomenon deliberately?" someone asked. "We did," Voss replied. "Using overlapping RF frequencies, ground-based emitters, and human biometric targeting, we identified Barrett's frequency response ahead of time. The anomaly did not initiate contact. It responded to ours." A younger senator leaned forward. "One last question, Dr. Voss. Did the Rendlesham event directly lead to the technology we observed during the Tic Tac incident in 2004? Were you involved?" Voss paused, then nodded. "Yes, the link is direct. Rendlesham wasn't an isolated event. It was the ignition point. The research frameworks that emerged from it, particularly harmonic propulsion modeling and plasma masking physics, fed directly into dark access test programs that evolved into what was seen by the Nimitz carrier group." He adjusted his glasses. "You have to understand, what they saw wasn't an accident. It was part of a controlled exposure window. The Tic Tac event served two purposes: real-time proof of maneuverability using mass reduction fields, and a live test of U.S. Navy sensor fusion systems against non-linear craft behavior. We weren't just observing it. We were testing our defenses against it." One senator frowned. "Are you saying it was staged?" "Partially," Voss said. "The object was real, but its exposure was managed. It was a test of response time, perception thresholds, radar coherence. The Nimitz wasn't just seeing a UAP. They were seeing the result of decades of layered experiments. Rendlesham was first. Nimitz was the proof of concept." Barrett glanced across the room. The timeline had shifted once, and now it was beginning again. His voice pierced the silence. "Let me take you back to December 1980. A voice from the dais followed immediately. "Dr. Voss, you are not excused. We will have many more questions as Jack continues to testify." Chapter 4. The signal Splice delivered more than testimony. It unveiled a system, an echo loop between past experiments and future consequences. Dr. Elias Voss didn't just confirm what happened in Rendlesham. He exposed the truth that it wasn't an accident. Plasma fields were engineered. Time dilation was measurable. And Jack Barrett, he wasn't chosen randomly. He was identified, tracked, conditioned, and drawn into the heart of a defense project that blurred the line between science and sorcery. Through Voss's classified report, the committee learned that CONDIGN buried the truth in plain sight, that Tic Tac was part of a decades-long continuum, and that what happened in East Anglia might be happening again. Jack is no longer alone. The committee is listening, but with each new revelation, another question echoes louder. If this was staged, then who or what is really in control? In Chapter 5, The Double Blind, Jack begins to remember more than what was repressed, because something buried beneath Capel Green is waking up, and it's calling him again.
Through the silence of time, I walked alone, but the stars knew my name in undertone. From Rendlesham woods to Saturn skies, I carry the echo